Welcome back to the Center for Off-Road Research and Shenanigans. And tonight I'm just going to talk about course building. This is my indoor course, as you've seen a million times by now. But I'll show you just kind of how it's built. Rocks are heavy, as you know. And a lot of what you see is propped up by cardboard boxes or 2x4s and whatnot. And this is kind of a cool looking little step thing with metal nailed to the sides. I don't know why I like it, just do. But there's a few elements that I think make a course good, and that is it has to be hard, but something you can accomplish. The stairs over here, we've seen that a few times. Those don't look like they'd be that hard, but just the way that the angles all line up, it kind of is. And this rock here is very steep, but it's pretty easy actually. I don't think it's that hard to do once you're up there anyway. What I've got is a license plate under this cardboard here, and the cardboard just kind of matches what the desert floor would look like, so it blends right in when you are putting rocks on top of it. Also, I just kind of painted what I had there. That box back there that says Honeywell on it, it's a printer box, and actually it's a fire safe. It's just the box, you know, but I painted the top because that was like the cornerstone of my entire course here, and I don't want to take these rocks off and repaint it all. It would look better, but if I did, I could never get them back the way they are now. But when you come to rock choices, just regular round rocks would be terrible. One thing I like are rocks that have a flat bottom and all sorts of jagged edges. That's what makes it kind of fun. Different surfaces. This one here is very slick, so there's not a lot of bite on it. The one here is rough and it has tons of bite. The way you arrange them is actually kind of important too for an interesting course. I like to have some that have, you know, straight walls, straight up and down, that are sort of difficult to even climb. And this is the area we call the walls. So again, with a low rock like this one's super grippy. When you're going to do vertical stuff, you need grippier rock. If you're going to do more angled stuff, this is a new run you haven't seen yet, but it's a lot of fun. And the path up is right here. It's difficult. When you get to this point, these are very slippery and you just don't have any bite. So it's this fine line between tipping over and being able to actually make it. But not everything I've tried, but it's still fairly new. I've run a few cars up it. And this side here I've torn apart because it just became not interesting anymore. It was a drive-through, and I could do it too easy. So what I've got here is a collection of things that I can put rocks on top of that will kind of blend into the background. These are great for propping up a heavier rock if you need to put it somewhere. And it is cut at a little bit of an angle. I don't know if you can see that, but that allows you to rotate it and orient the rock as necessary to stay up. Also, if you've ever hung a door, you know that you gotta get the door frame right. So you gotta shim it, and I just cut these, and they will compress. But I'll show you this over here. When I built the insane line that you've all seen the other cars do, this one is actually propped up on a little single rock there because it needed to be that much higher in order to work up here. And once again, here's my choice of rocks. The more jagged, the cooler they are. I got a collection of things over here that I'm going to put together. Also, when you are this is very important. This will save your motors. When you build a course, if you end up with a hole in your course like this, that or maybe a little bigger than that, where a wheel can get stuck in there, if your wheel can touch on the top and the bottom of the tire on rock, it might not be able to turn, and that's bad. If there's a hole that your wheel can drop into and get stuck, that's a blown motor. Just so you know, just be careful with that. That's why I kind of save all my smaller ones to basically plug up little holes in the course as I go, because like I said, I don't want a tire dropping into a hole and getting bound up. I think that's one reason why people are losing motors so often. I don't blow motors. I've had 2 go out, and the entire time I think I've had these cars for 7 months, I've only lost 2 motors, and that was in the early on when I was still figuring out how to drive these things and where all of the rubbing points were on the cars. So once you take care of them, I feel like the motors are pretty durable, and I'm gonna figure out what to do with this portion a little bit later on. Lights make it kind of cool because it adds a dimension to the course that just is unusual. And I'm building some, over here is a steep climb. I think it's like 52 degrees. It's completely doable for most cars. What else am I gonna say? If I think of more later, I'll tell you, but I'm gonna try to use the rocks over here to build something interesting. I think that's it for now. I'll add more to the video if I figure out something else to say. This is what I've come up with for this side so far, and I'll probably change it. Getting to modify it is kind of part of the fun, but there's a few places that I'm gonna show you, like this slot here. A tire could fit in there and get stuck, and if a tire can touch in 2 parts, top and bottom, or front and back, basically it can wedge and not be able to turn at all. Here's another place that I'm gonna shove that is just wide enough for a tire to get wedged in there, and if that happens, it makes a lot of heat on the motor. I'll do a video later that shows what happens when a wire has a current running through it and it can't cycle. When the motor can't turn, it can't heat cycle through the different poles, and if a wire continuously has to carry current, it will get hot, then it'll glow orange, and it'll just melt in half. So always have your motors turning. If they get stuck, get off the throttle. It's the best way to save your motor. Picking it up is better than changing your entire system out. One thing that my course has that I like is multiple entry points. Like I should be able to drive right up here and through here. I can start on the end and cross this entire line. I've got I planned at least 2 or 3 ways up on this section here. This one has multiple climb points. I really like this whole area over here. I'm probably not going to touch it a whole lot, and I'll keep it how it is for a while. But one thing my course does not have is portability, and portability is great if you can't have a permanent setup, and it's also good if you have to arrange it, because then it's not so heavy. This one I have is probably I'd say it's close to 7 or 8 feet wide, and now it's honestly getting a little bit ridiculous, but I love that. So it's never done. Don't feel like your course is ever done, because you can always get one more rock and change it. I was talking about rocks earlier. Round ones sometimes aren't very good for building, and this one here, this is kind of a cool one for me. I don't know why I like it so much, but I do. But you can't really see, but it has this straight flat edge, and it cups out. I don't know if you can see that, but That started as a round one, and I was outside bashing it against another one and broke it in half. This was another round one that I smashed in half, and a lot of these are, but when they have a flat foot, that makes them really good for indoor courses like this. But there's no rule. Build whatever you want and have fun with it. And I'm kind of surprised that my family hasn't sort of freaked out on the obsession that I've got going in the basement here. So I actually had to get rid of a couch to build this course. It started off as about 4 or 5 rocks that I drove a car over, and it's turned into this monstrosity. But anyway, I think that's all for tonight. Hope you guys are having a good summer so far, and we'll talk to you later.